Hi, and welcome to Schmooze with Suze. I'm Suze Montgomery, your host, and boy, we're really excited about this show. A very, very dear friend, probably my closest female friend, is with us today, and this is Cheryl Heitmann, our city council person, former mayor. So, former mayor, how many mayors, female?
I was only the third.
This is pretty bad. 150 years, we only had three. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes here, too. I asked Cheryl to give me some topics she wanted to talk about, and I had a list of topics. So mine was a lot longer because I remember everything she does because Cheryl is everywhere, all over this town. She is like omnipresent. Coffee shop, she's there. Farmer's market, she's there. Ribbon cutting, she's there. School, she's there. City council, she's there. And I'm having fun watching city council. And let's talk about your highlights last year. You did more last year than I can remember any city council person since I moved to this town in 1981 ever doing. I'm serious, well, because you were everywhere.
Well, I was everywhere.
Did you have a favorite thing?
I had I really love being out with the people and just hearing what everybody has to say and learning things. Coffee with the mayor was something I loved doing. Every month I would go someplace different and set up a little coffee with the mayor table and advertise it. People would know I'd be there, and they'd come and they'd sit down and just talk to me about concerns they had, things they liked, things they wish they could change about the city. And, I learned a lot. It was great to meet people I didn't know and to see the involvement, the engagement of just the ordinary citizen and how much they love the city and how much they want to be a part of it and care about it. So that was really, really exciting. I also established our very first sister city. We've never had one in the city of Ventura before, and it was exciting to be able to do that with a city, Loreto, Mexico.
Now, this is Loreto, Mexico, right over the border, or no?
No, it's in Baja.
It's in Baja.
Sur, right. It's about halfway down.
Ooh, nice area.
Yeah, fishing village on the coast, and has 5 islands that are a national park, just like our islands.
How'd you pick Loreto?
Well, they sort of picked us, actually. The Channel Islands has gone down there and done research, and they're trying to form a national park, sister park relationship with the islands in Loreto, which are very, very similar to our islands. Same sea life goes back and forth. I mean, there are just so many similarities. So they went down, they talked with the mayor of Loreto, and they had asked me, would I be interested in doing a sister city? And I really had always wanted to do that. So I was very excited about it. So they said, yes, she would be interested. So he wrote and invited me to do that. And then I ultimately invited him here. Our council voted. We gave him a proclamation. And then I went to Loreto to do the same thing. So very exciting. And interestingly enough, Father Sarah, now Saint Sarah, actually started his mission trip there and planned his trip in Loreto. So I didn't even know that at first. So to find that kind of a relationship, and when you see their mission and our mission, they're so similar. It's just amazing. It's small. It's about 18,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but surprising how many people here have been there because they were big sport fishing, and a lot of our locals have gone down there for vacations. And we're taking another trip down. I'm not going to get to go, but I think Councilmember Morehouse is going this time in a couple of weeks, actually, just in a few weeks.
Just as goodwill gestures?
Partly, yes, and we're forming relationships. Like we have our committee, we have now a sister city committee in the city, and they've formed a relationship with one of our fourth grades and a fourth grade in one of their schools.
Oh, cute.
And this is at Blanche Reynolds, which has Spanish immersion classes, so it's perfect for them. So we're doing that. We're doing a lot of cultural exchanges. They've come several times. They're really interested in our incubator space, how to set that up. So we're helping them with that. And a lot of art. They have a big art community there, so
Really?
they came to our art walk last year, and actually some of their artists brought their work here. They drove up here, which took them...
They drove? How long does that take?
It took a long time. It was a day and a half, I think, and they drove straight through.
Wow.
But bless their hearts, I mean, they brought beautiful art. And then we produced a calendar together. We're going to do it again this year, and half of it's in Spanish, half English, half pictures from Loretto, half pictures from Ventura, and the similarity is amazing.
So how interesting, but they approached us first.
Well, they did, well, the National Park Service actually approached me first, but yes, their mayor then reached out and said they would be
I
interested.
thought we had a sister city years ago.
We
We
never had
did?
one. Mm-mm.
Really?
So it's
Well,
a first. So that was really fun to do.
That's really cool.
And important for the city. And I think important that it's in Mexico. We have a very high Spanish-speaking population, as you know. And so I think that relationship has also been really important.
Talking about that, we did the park opening, which you were at on Saturday. We have a brand new Kellogg Park on the west side. I'm really encouraged by all the activity that's happening over on the west side.
Me too.
And thanks for, you come to the meetings, you come to the West Side Community Council meetings. You're really involved on a large scale. If you're not familiar with Cheryl, and if you haven't seen her out, you've got to be blind or something else, but she's everywhere, like I said at the beginning. And I think by her hands-on, I mean, this is something that we've never had with any of our city council people before. I mean, we know them because they'll show up from time to time at something, but not everything. I mean, you're I You come to all of my senior meetings, the Ventura Council for Seniors. I think, you've got the senior population. They love you. I mean, they just wait to see you come to the meetings.
Oh, that's nice. Well, the senior population, as you well know, because you're such an advocate for seniors, but it's so important, and it's 27%, could be bigger by now of our population.
It is bigger.
Probably, I'm sure it's growing. And we really need to make sure that we're servicing the seniors. And they're often a hidden group, and that's why what you're doing is so important, to get them out and get them involved in their own advocacy also, so that they are really saying, hey, here's what we're interested in, here's our issues.
This is what we think.
That's what we
want to go
think.
to City Hall.
Exactly. So I think that's really crucial, but so many of them, they're living on fixed income. They may not be able to do a lot, and so we want to make sure that we're giving those seniors the resources that we can, that they deserve, and make it a real priority, and that's what I intend to do this next year. I wanted to do more, and I'm going to really make that a priority for myself for this next year.
I love it.
I think
well,
it's
then
important.
You can help me with my new project. We're opening a workforce development component with the Ventura Unified School District, which is adult ed. It's called Encore. And we will actually take seniors that are probably, a little bit deficient in income, like say financially strapped, and we're going to teach them how to use technology, basic stuff, just basics. They don't need any more than that, so that they can feel confident if they want to re-enter the job world, just for basic skills.
That's great.
And get them out of the house, get them away from the TV, get them engaged in living again.
No, that's great.
They isolate, and we lose people like that.
We do, and we have so many great volunteer activities also. If they can afford to do volunteer as opposed to paid work, there's a lot of opportunity. And I don't think we're using, that's one of the issues I want to look at, because I don't think we're maximizing.
Oh, not at all.
We have incredible seniors with these, I mean, when you talk to them, and like you do, and you find out their stories and their past and their histories, and you're like, whoa, that's amazing.
They'd be great fits for kids in elementary, like little mentor things, like adopt a grandma thing, that kind of thing. I can really see I'll work with you on that, because I've got a lot of stuff I want to play with the seniors. We can really build that one.
I love it.
Well, let's talk about something else you've done. It looks like you're doing something with veterans now, too. Is the city, what are you doing with vets?
Very exciting. So about a year and a half ago, we were approached by CalVet, and they wanted us to help them. And here's what's happened. So we have a veterans home, a wonderful veterans home in East Ventura on Telephone, as you probably know. And that land was originally city land owned by the city, and actually the city does own the land. So the city had leased the land to CalVet until 2020. to do what they could to develop it for veterans. But the idea was if they hadn't finished doing it in 2020, it would come back to the city. Okay, so that's one part of it. Then
Now, that's a residential living facility,
it
correct?
is right now. It's a retirement residential living
Okay.
facility. Then Prop 41 appears, which gives us additional money for homeless vets and vets who are at risk of being homeless, disabled, et cetera. So I had wanted to do something specifically for homeless vets, and this happened. And then we find out the land that CalVet has no way that they can possibly do anything before 2020 on that land. So then it's going to come back to the city. So I start working on why would we want to wait? Let's work together. You
Sure.
give us the land back now, and we'll find a developer and we'll build something for homeless vets. Because now Prop 41 money is available. Hopefully we can access that. But we had a lot of trouble getting the land back, to be perfectly honest, from CalVet. So when my good friend Jackie Irwin was elected to the state assembly and then became chair of the Veterans Committee, I started talking with Jackie about this issue, and she got excited as I was, and she now is my partner in this, but she's up there, she's got more power, and so she now has gotten the land released from CalVet, and it will come back to the city in the next 3 months.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's fantastic, that partnership, and then we can then go out and put an RFQ out, which we're going to do very shortly,
Right.
for a developer to actually do something for homeless vets.
So what would you, like a facility?
Oh, it'll be a home. It'll be some kind of living facility, right, with services. But it's 10 acres, so this is just the
big.
first, it's big, so this is just the first part of it.
Okay.
We can then do later, we can add on something for vets and their families, perhaps low-income vets and their families. It's just a way that at least we can get started with something now on that land, which really is dedicated to veterans. So it's very exciting that this is actually going to happen.
I'm really gratified to hear that because I just worry about them. I mean, they're kind of like forgotten. You don't really see them unless you're at a parade or something because they're kind of like invisible, like seniors are invisible. And I'd love to see more senior housing available in
do
the
need
city
it.
too. So
We do
that
need it.
hopefully will be coming down. You know, I'm so glad you're there because you really pay attention to the small details.
Well, thank you.
Well, no, you really do. You pay attention to them and you enact on them too. It's one thing to be thinking about it, but actually you need to enact on it. And that's, since you're so well connected, you can actually put the dots together and actually form something. I'm gratified for that.
Yeah,
well,
thank
thanks
you.
for doing that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's a
Boy,
fun one.
I mean, your list, my list is probably just as big as yours. Let's see, you've got a water commission. What are we doing with water these days? Where are we?
Oh, well, you know, water is such
Are we still in a drought? Yes?
Oh, absolutely.
Big?
We're still in
Okay.
a drought. We're still asking residents to conserve water. You know, we asked for 20%. We're sort of hovering around that. But we have to continue to do that because although Northern California got a lot of snow,
We didn't
which is
get it.
great,
Yeah.
we didn't. And we do not access the water from Northern California like many of our neighboring cities do. We have our own water sources, so we do not take state water. So we are dependent on ourselves.
But don't we pay for it? Don't we have it in reserve?
We have some in reserve, right, and we
Okay.
do sell some of it back, so we do
Okay.
make some money, but we don't have any way to get it. So in
Oh.
order for us to access it, which we may eventually have to do, and it is an option, we'll have to somehow pipe in to get it. So at this point, our biggest push really is on reusing
Okay.
water,
So
either
recycle.
purple pipe, recycling, and potable reuse.
Oh,
Yes, we have a potable reuse pilot project going on right now, which people can take a tour of.
I'm dying to get down there and
Oh,
see
you
that
have to.
thing. I hear
9:30
it's
every
great.
Saturday.
Okay.
It's really fascinating.
Where is it located?
It's at the treatment plant down on
Harbor?
Yeah,
Is it way down
in the
there?
harbor. Mhm.
Okay.
Right. It's fascinating to see how that's going, and we feel like if we can get the funding, et cetera, our plan is by 2025 to be able to use it.
Wow.
Yeah, which would solve most of our water problems, or a great deal of it. It's not going to be all the water, but it would certainly
At
be
least
a
alleviate some of
big
the-
part of it. Right, and it's drinkable now. I've had 3 or 4 glasses of it. I'm still here. It's great. Tastes
Mixing
fine.
it with anything? No. Okay. Just asking. That was a leading question. Articles. Now, this was something that I have been seeing this. I see it on Facebook, and I see it in newspaper articles, and I've heard it on the radio in the morning, KVTA. All of a sudden, Ventura has been found I mean, we're all over the place as being the best city for this, the best city for that.
That's true.
How come all of a sudden this is just happening? It's just because people are waking up, visiting, or what?
You know, it's an interesting question. I think we're looking. I sit on the board of the Visitors and Convention Bureau, and it's interesting. They have done a big push. I mean, they are really become a very effective, particularly at social media and social marketing. We are doing a lot of our marketing through all kinds of social platforms, and they're excellent in it. Also, Instagram, just pictures, a lot of pictures being shown. I think that helps, but they're reaching out to very specific areas and targeting, you know, groups, countries, et cetera. And you can see how that really is helping, because we'll track where people are coming from.
Right.
And it's somewhat connected to where they're advertising. That's part of it. But some of it is, you know, just appears, and it's just so exciting that somebody just finds out in some way. You know, when you're listed as the best city in several different,
I'm like, where did that come from?
There's another article coming out in Men's Health again, I think, in several journals and newspapers, et cetera. Then people start to look around and look at you. I was reading This Week, the magazine, the other day, and there was an article. There was an article in the travel section, and it had Ventura. And I called Marlis, who's our director of our Visitors Bureau, and I said, "Do you know about this?" And she's like, "No." So it's just starting to appear, which is very, very exciting.
Wow,
and I think
that'll just leapfrog.
Yeah, and it is. Our tourism is up, our hotel nights are up, our TOT, our tourist dollars are up. So I think we've just been found.
And we're balanced. We have a budget that's finally balanced. And boy, that is a lot of hard work. I mean, a lot of people really, because 2008, when the big slide start happened, then you had to lay off staff and people had to take, I mean, it just was a nightmare for a couple of years, but everybody hunkered down and worked together.
They did, yeah.
And now it's working.
It is working. I think we're able to maintain where we are with the budget that we have. We can't add a lot of services back with this budget, and we do have an aging infrastructure. There are things that have to continually be repaired. Look at our pier. It was badly damaged this year, damaged a second time. And although we have insurance, every time we have to use that, it's $100,000 at a pop. So, you know, it may be $1 million in repair, and thank goodness we have the insurance, but it's still costing us, and we want to keep the pier, obviously.
Well, that's one of our landmarks.
It definitely is. So, you know, they're just those, I think people don't realize when you're a coastal city, the extra expenses you have. If you think about the damage, the weather, and the damage of the ocean along our promenade, which we were repairing Got hammered again, right.
Yeah.
Lost 3 trees. So.
I know, that was just so freakish.
Yeah, it was.
Well, downtown seems to be kind of, you know, it's kind of, I guess it's just leveled out now, pretty much. I know we have some empty storefronts. We have economic development. We have a new gal there. Lee, is it?
Lee Eisen, she's our economic development manager.
So she's out knocking on doors, trying to find people that want to move here, or?
Well, she did. Brooks.
Now, Brooks, what is Brooks doing?
Brooks is moving to downtown. Their entire campus will be an urban campus. They're going to. They've already given up their lease where they are now.
Up the avenue.
Way up
they're
on
gone?
the avenue. Well, they're still there, but it's a month to month. But they'll be moving downtown. They've already rented quite a bit of space. They're looking for quite a bit more, 30,000 square feet more, I think, is their goal. And they have 400 plus students now. Their goal is to get to 600 rather quickly. And a lot of these students are foreign students. So it's a great opportunity for the city to have them downtown on a daily basis.
Where do they park?
Well, a lot of the buildings that they're going into have some parking. These students some of them will try to live downtown. Okay. And so that will eliminate some of that.
Yeah, they won't need transportation.
They'll be taking 2 floors behind City Hall in our 505 building.
Okay, which was nonprofit?
No, the nonprofits will still be there, but it was, the 5th floor was the trade desk, which was our big success story from our incubator space, and they have moved downtown also.
What is Trade Desk?
Trade Desk has a platform for advertising and don't ask me any technical things because I can't tell you.
Because I don't know you.
But it's a very, very successful company. It started with 2 people, and it's now up to well over 100 internationally.
That's fantastic.
And we have between 60 and 80 working in downtown Ventura.
This is all
great
money
success.
coming into the city.
Oh yeah, it's a terrific company, a wonderful success story. Just what should happen, what you hope will happen with an incubator space, and
Sure.
And we were very fortunate to have them here.
Well, they also took the initiative and ran with the ball.
They did.
You got to give them credit for
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
Well, gosh, what else? There's so many things you did this year.
Well, we're bringing Kaiser here.
Oh, tell me about Kaiser.
70,000 square feet of office space.
That's over down the street here.
It is, Market, yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be for additional offices, additional medical personnel of all kinds, lab, et cetera, be coming out here. So that's additional high-end, high-paying jobs
Right.
coming into our community, which is great. And they'll have a bigger footprint here. They already have a footprint, but they're going to be growing it. So that's very exciting.
Wow.
And they'll kind of be part of our wellness district. Although they're technically geographically not there, we consider them,
Okay.
well, the district doesn't have to just be geographic, it can be more than that. So one of the things we're doing, because we have two brand new hospitals, VCMC and CMH, coming online with
Right.
brand new hospitals, state of the art, both of them going to be beautiful. Then with Kaiser being a bigger footprint here, we really are going to have this unique opportunity to develop more medical services and
Great.
auxiliary services for hospitals, et cetera. So right now the city's trying to make sure that our infrastructure in the area of the two big hospitals is going to be adequate to also support other kinds of businesses that we want to bring in there.
Okay.
Right now you're probably seeing a big parking garage going up by CMH, which
Right.
will obviously be parking for the hospital, but in addition for the businesses, there's spaces that will be reserved for all the businesses in that area so that we can expand them and help them to grow and be more medically oriented. So that's a big push of our economic development.
That's huge. That's big money coming.
It is, and I think healthcare, as you well know, with seniors, boomers coming online and living longer, healthcare is going to be a huge industry. So to have that kind of a campus, a medical campus like that, which we prefer to call wellness, is really going to be a big engine, economic engine.
And then we can attract more doctors and more specialty and probably, more and more
Obviously.
people move to town, especially support staff.
Exactly.
So we'll have to need more
Exactly.
housing, which is all springboards everything.
Right, exactly.
That's economic growth.
Exactly.
Finally, yay,
Yeah.
because we were stalled there for a while.
Yeah, I think so. But what's great is our small businesses, which of course is 95% of
Right.
businesses, is they've hung in, so many of them. And
True.
they saw the recession, but they hung in. And I just respect that so much because they could see a vision. They didn't want to leave Ventura. So we've been fortunate that we've had these businesses and new ones cropping up now. And that's a big focus for Lee, the Economic Development Manager, and for us. I chair the Economic Development Committee on the council.
Of course you do.
Well, it's another one of my passions.
Is there any more?
But I think it's so important that we continue to look for new businesses and things that are going to be compatible with Ventura.
True.
And people are attracted. They want to locate here. They love our lifestyle, and that has a lot to do with it. The weather, of course, but then and the location and the beauty of it. But then the lifestyle that we're a very accepting community, a community that's a little bit more laid back. We still have that small town feeling, even though we're 109,000 people. It's not that small.
No.
But we still have that small town community feel.
Well, that was evidenced by, just Saturday looking at the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Absolutely.
Where else do you see an inflated green pig going down the street? Really, every time I see that, I go, wow. I don't know what to say about that one. But it's small town,
it's
and it's
community.
great. It is
It's
community,
great.
and that's the strength of this town.
It is.
People that work together.
Right.
You say the same people doing a lot of the same work. I would like to engage younger people to get
Yes.
involved because sometime you're going to have to pass the baton on to somebody
Absolutely.
else.
No, absolutely. And we need to do that.
So-
It's just, it's tough. They're working. Two of my daughters live here with their families, and
Yeah.
both parents work.
Yep.
And then they've got little kids. And,
Juggling.
It's juggling constantly. And I think these younger families, so many of them have to do that. So it's
True enough.
not easy to have a lot of volunteer time. But
No,
you're
but
right.
as the kids get
As
older,
they
then you
get
can
older.
get out there and work in
Absolutely.
schools or something like that.
Right.
Well, let's see. You're wellness boy, we're just knocking them down here. Let me think. Growth managing a research. Oh, before because we're running out of time, I know. Let's talk about the 150th. That's your baby. Okay, so you started the Acts of Kindness.
I did.
Okay, and you want to describe what that's all
Good.
about?
I'd love to.
Should have had.
Million Acts of Kindness. So as part of our 150th birthday celebration, which I chair that committee, I wanted to do something where I could get the whole community involved, no matter what level, how old you are, doesn't matter how much time you have. We can all do acts of kindness. And we do acts of kindness all day long. We just don't recognize it.
No.
So I wanted us to be more aware of it. So I've asked the city to do 1 million acts of kindness between November 8th and April 2nd, which is our actual birthday, and then post on our website,
so cute.
venturakindness.com. It's hard to get people to post, but they're starting to get there. And we have lots of social media platforms
Right.
that you can post on. But it's so great. The schools have done wonderful. They've been great participants in it, getting the kids involved, because it really has to start with the kids. The culture of kindness really has to start with children.
True.
So I recognized, for example, E.P. Foster School last week at the council meeting. They've done in each classroom a big heart, and then inside
Those
the
were
heart,
cute.
the kids go up and post with a little Post-it note an act of kindness either they did or they saw someone did. And that's the whole idea. And the act of kindness can be smiling at someone, it can be opening the door for someone, it can be rescuing someone. I mean, it can be anything. And so everyone can do it and everyone can participate, and people have really gotten into it. It's been
Good.
great. It really has.
This whole 150th is just, there's so much attention, but it's so much fun. It's kind of like a big birthday party for the city.
Exactly.
And you really kicked this thing into gear.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. You know, as you know, we are working a lot with the descendants of some of our original families,
Right.
which is amazing how many of them still live here and are still so connected to the family, to the community, their families.
Right.
And, that's been a real surprise. I had no idea how many
We
of them.
found Bob Dudley. He's 88 years old. He's the only surviving Dudley
that's
left.
amazing.
Although he's got one daughter who's not married, and she adopted a child.
She did, Grayson, and I've talked with her.
Exactly.
Right.
And so they carry on the Dudley
That's
name
exactly
as well.
right. And he's going to be part of, on April 2nd, when we have our big celebration downtown at Plaza Park, I have about 10 or 12 5-year-olds who are going to be the future of Ventura.
How cute.
And he's going to be one of them. I've tried to get as many from the original families,
Right.
descendants that I can. And then we have a few other kids that will be participating too. But think about it, in 50 years, they'll be 55, right? So they'll
Sure.
hopefully still be here when we have our 200th anniversary, when some of us probably won't. So it's important for us to look at the future of Ventura and recognize that this historical celebration is important, to celebrate the history and who we are and feel really great about the city that we are, but it's also important to look forward.
I think this celebration, I think the whole community's coming out for this one. I mean, that's a whole day's long of activities.
is.
You've got pie eating contest with the
Mayors, yes, that's not my idea. Yes, we have a pie eating
Shower
contest
caps.
with all the current and former mayors that can appear, who can come, and we're getting quite a good response. We have all kinds of things for kids, just tons of activities for kids to do. There'll be music, there'll be food, all day long in Plaza Park. And there's a treasure hunt for kids, like find what this building used to be, what it is now. You got to find,
Oh,
you got to figure
neat.
out, kind of that kind of thing.
Should do
which is
that for the
great.
adults. They
they-
need to be educated as well.
And they can certainly participate. And then that night, there'll be a concert in Mission Park featuring Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, who are actually donating the concert. And the proceeds will go to the VUSD, their arts programs. So
Good, excellent.
It's really exciting.
Well, they're local guys.
They started local, right?
Yeah, but there's
Some of them are still local, right? Exactly. So really and it'll be so much fun because it's just going to be a part of the big celebration
Boy, that's
going
gonna be,
on.
I'm really looking forward to that. We got tickets to go to that
Oh,
one as
good.
well.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time, and we should do this a little more often.
That'd be great.
I'd love to
it.
have you back after
Love
this
it.
is over, after the celebration, so we can post-mortem the whole thing.
Great.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having
And thanks
me.
for joining us. You got to keep up with Cheryl. I don't know how fast you can run, but she's faster than all of us. She is at everything, so look for her. She's tiny, but she's really powerful. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.